Hey friends, okay, so I've got another little lamp project. Actually, it's a sconce, and I started cutting this paper before I even showed it to you. But look at this gorgeous paper, y'all. It looks like fabric. And it's a handmade paper that I actually got from the paper source. I got it online, and honestly, I can't even remember the name of this. But so I made a pattern with just another sheet of paper, and what I did was just roll the shade along the paper. You know, as you roll the shade, it kind of curves around, and so I just let it naturally curve, and I traced the top and the bottom of the shade with a pencil. And this is, what I got. So you can see that it is curved, and that is because, the top of the shade is smaller than the bottom of the shade. So after I had that traced, I, of course, cut out the pattern, and then I'm laying it on the paper and just cutting my paper into that shape. So here's the little shade. And see how I'm rolling it on the paper? That's exactly how I rolled it on the other sheet of paper to make a pattern. I just had my pencil at the top and the bottom, and see how it just kind of curves around. So I'm here trying to figure out, my plan is just decoupage, use a normal decoupage technique with this paper, and I'm just trying to make sure it does actually line up with the shade. So I'm using a liquid patina by DIY, and you can use this as a sealer or a decoupage medium. So I'm just going to brush the decoupage medium, or the patina, liquid patina, on the lampshade itself and on the paper as well. I'm going to work in sections, so I'll put the decoupage medium on the lamp and then on the paper, and I'll fit that paper onto the shade, and I will continue to do that all the way around, just working slowly and making sure that I do have paper actually on the shade. Now this paper was, it's very unique because there was, it just has a lot of flowers on it. So the flowers were actually paper, but then like the background felt somewhat like wax paper. So the paper just appeared to have a lot of texture to it. I really love it. However, next time when I use a paper like this, or a thicker handmade paper, I will probably use a wallpaper adhesive. It just seems to hold a little bit better. It's just a little thicker and a little stronger. This worked fine, but I did have to add a little bit more of the patina and make sure it was really holding well. So once I got to the end here, I just made sure that the pieces, they did overlap. So I just took some scissors and just cut them where they just met. So you could fold it under and have it meet, or you can just do what I did. And I just let the two sides meet and make sure they were glued down. I brushed the liquid patina on the outside where the two pieces met, and then I also went around the entire shade and added liquid patina on the outside. So because, again, this paper was thicker than like a normal decoupage paper, I cut the edges off the top and bottom because it was just a little too thick to kind of fold under or fold down. So I just found it much easier just to cut that off. And as you'll see a little later on, I'm going to make a little band with the paper to kind of give it a neat finish. So after I had all the decoupage medium on, I let that dry, and then I took a square and I drew some strips. I actually drew a straight line so I could cut some strips of the paper. I've done this before. Now it was a little different with this paper again because it was a little thicker. But I just cut a few strips, and then I folded the paper in on its in towards itself on each side. That gave me like a 1/2 of an inch of paper. So then I took some Tite Bond Quick and Thick glue and I brushed it on the whole strip on the bottom. So I'm going to fold that strip and, fold it in half, and then I'm going to bend it over the top of the shade and the bottom of the shade. So I'm brushing the glue on, and then that'll give me, when I fold it in half, I'll have like a 1/4 of an inch for a little trim. So here you work a little slowly. You kind of just go a little inch at a time, and you just worked with that paper and make sure it's laying down. So just kind of work with it as you go around. It'll lay down and it'll look nice, and like a nice little trim, like if you were sewing. So this is kind of like a little bias band if you were using fabric, pretty much the same way. So I had to cut another little strip, and I glued that on as well, and then I just folded the little end together where they met, and that way it just, you didn't have any raw edges. So here's a little close-up of what I'm talking about. So it just gives it a neat finish just when you put a trim on like that, and it's just easy to do. So I'm just going to repeat the process with the bottom of the shade, cutting the strips, folding them in, folding the sides inwards and gluing it on. Again, just taking my time. Here you go. It's just, so you've got like a 1/4 of an inch trim on the top and the bottom. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.